Segment 3, Gold and Black Live. Matt Stevens comes back. I want to thank Mike Babinski, obviously, for being with us. And as we were all talking, he's so gracious with the time, but interesting. And that's the thing. If you haven't had a chance to watch the first 2 segments, you need to do that just because he's always got something interesting to say and says it in a way that I understand why Jeff Brown might want to work with him. I mean, it's an easy
goes a
thing.
long way, wanting to work for your boss.
Yeah, and now I don't know if these guys say the same thing, but that's the way it is.
There are obviously some exceptions.
Right.
All right, Brian, I'm going to start with you because we don't have a lot of time left, but we've got obviously a big game for Purdue tomorrow, and I know you were talking with Mike offline a little bit about what to expect from Notre Dame. It's a huge game for Purdue, just not much margin for error. Mike Babinski said there's still a path to the NCAA. There is, but they got to win some games. Tomorrow would be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is your last opportunity in non-conference play to beat a name-brand team. Obviously, Notre Dame is not ranked like they normally are. But we don't know what kind of season they're going to go on to have, so we can't really look ahead at the final resume profile they would bring should Purdue win this game. But at least it's somebody, and at this point, it's all you got left.
Yeah.
Because Purdue has played 3 high major opponents in non-conference play thus far, resume-type games in non-conference play, and lost those games by an average of 3.7 points a game. Those games were closer than that even indicates. Purdue has been this close to getting resume wins, has nothing to show for it. This is its last opportunity to get something with a little meat on its bones for that resume if Purdue wants to make the NCAA tournament. Obviously it does. We don't know if they can at this point or will.
Yeah. Any sense from yours? I mean, and obviously finals week, and Purdue has won the last 2 Crossroads Classics. But any sense of urgency, or what? I mean, what do you sense the feeling is right now with this?
I think
team?
it was probably a good opportunity for them to kind of sit back and diagnose what all's gone wrong, and a lot's gone right too, because Purdue's been in a position to win these games, but then they just haven't. You know, the Florida State game, you have won. All you have to do is do any one of 20 simple, positive, if not neutral basketball plays, and you win that game. And that's currently a top 10 opponent on the road. They wouldn't be in the top 10 had Purdue won, but currently that's a top 10 team that you had beat on the road, and you just didn't beat them. So Purdue has done some things right here. It's just not done quite enough right to get there. But I think this week was probably a good opportunity to take a deep breath and look at how they're doing things, and they're shooting too many threes, if you ask me. They might not necessarily agree because the threes are being taken by guys who are historically good three-point shooters, but they do need to diversify their portfolio a little bit. I know that part of their messaging from the coaches this week has been the 2 feet in the paint thing that we hear from Matt Painter all the time. Get to the basket, post up a little bit more. They're not the same team they were last year, so there's going to be significant fundamental differences between this team and last year's, but they can't have 49% of their shots being threes all year long and not expect to lose games that you probably shouldn't lose because of bad shooting nights. But also, they have to find themselves defensively. I think Purdue made Texas better than it is offensively because I thought their game plan kind of played into Texas's hands. They gave them easy kickouts, clean catches for the shots they haven't been making all year. But also, Purdue just has to pick it up defensively. They've been so inconsistent from a defensive perspective. They just have to get better there. There is no path to meaningful success for this Purdue team without defense. And that's where this probably has to start more than offense.
Yeah, interesting, and it's going to be a storyline that we'll be following Purdue and Notre Dame tomorrow at 1:30 in the Crossroads Classic. Matt, looking at football, obviously now that bowl prep is heating up. The Boilermakers will have had 3 by the time we get through Saturday, 3 days in a row of practice. News and notes coming out of there. What have you seen so far?
It's kind of they're still in the mode of more focused on younger guys and how guys that are going to help them for 2019. Don't get me wrong. Giovanni Rivera is going to play defensive tackle in the bowl game because they have a spot open there because Lorenzo Neal's not going to play. But that's a spot they see him in 2019. So why not start it now? Guys, you're seeing coaches tinker right now, and they may get more, less convoluted once, maybe a week before the game or a little bit before they head to Nashville. But you're seeing coaches tinker right now with what they want to do philosophically on both sides of the ball and what they want to do personnel-wise to make this, a more, mostly on defense, to kind of make this a more cohesive unit. Jeff Brahms talked about trying to be better at the start of next season, because I think the 2019 season is going to have a whole lot of expectations. Can't afford an 0-3, or even an 0-2 start next year. They're trying to avoid that, so I think they're trying to use this early bowl prep to get guys in spots they feel more comfortable, so that they're just not out of their comfort zone, in those first 2 weeks like they were this year.
Yeah, you make injury-wise, I mean, I was obviously having to replace Lorenzo Neal, but also there still may be other instances or issues with the defensive line. Can that defense, and you know Auburn about as well as anybody, what does it have to do to contain Auburn in terms of the Tigers, in terms of with what the Boilermakers have to bring to the fore on December 28th in Nashville?
It's hard for me to sugarcoat this, because this is a game that Purdue really needed Lorenzo Neal, because Auburn's offensive line is very, very weak, SEC caliber-wise, from guard to guard. And I think Lorenzo Neal could have caused problems, not only in the run game, but also getting vertically up the field in the pass game, because Jared Stidham's not very mobile. My issue is that I think Nick Holt's going to have to bring more aggressive blitzes, and I think that, when we look at the PFF data, the Pro Football Focus data that we get, Alan, Jared Stidham is a unbelievably inaccurate quarterback, and kind of has happy feet when he's pressured and when he's facing blitzes. I think Nick Holt is going to use this month to dial up some of those exotic blitzes that he's used on third down. I think he could use them on early downs, because I just don't think they feel good about what they're trying to do up front. The guys are trying to move around without Lorenzo Neal. They don't know what kind of push they can get, and I know that Auburn's tackles have been very, very solid this year, both on the left and the right side. So they feel like, from an interior standpoint, they're going to have to try some things that are a little bit funky, some things with their veteran linebackers that they might not normally do. Oh, by the way, they're also getting Jacob Thieneman back at safety, and I think that he could be a big element into what Nick Holt wants to do from an exotic blitz standpoint.
Ryan, obviously, in a couple minutes we have left, recruiting weekend too. I don't even know exactly, I should know what the number of guys that will be here, but there are going to be a lot of ones that have already committed. Any drama still left, really, and before Wednesday when it's National Signing Day and Purdue's expected to sign 20-plus folks in the class?
2020 guys mostly this weekend, right?
Well, the drama lies in guy who's not visiting. Obviously, David Bell. Purdue made their in-home visit with him last night. He visited weeks ago, so that's not a front burner matter right now. Purdue just has to wait him out. He'll obviously announce January 5th at the All-American Bowl. Purdue's numbers are restrictive, obviously. I think there's a good chance every visitor this weekend is already committed.
Right.
I don't know if one of the uncommitted visitors is coming anymore, but there's a good chance all the official visitors are already committed. So Purdue's numbers are pretty much spoken for, with the exception of the one player we spoke of earlier, obviously David Bell. There are possibilities out there that Purdue can kind of move things around a little bit and get another linebacker in, but the NCAA's 25 per year rule is now a hard ceiling. It used to be where you could oversign a few spots every year and sign more than 25 players. You really, practically speaking, you can't do that anymore because they changed the rule basically last year to make that a much more restrictive limit for a variety of reasons. Those reasons always happen to start with the SEC.
Yeah.
But fully aware.
Everybody else has to deal with the system that comes from their antics. So Purdue isn't going to be able to sign more than 25 guys. Purdue has 24 players committed right now. Is it possible somebody moves back, moves up, and somebody replaces him in this 25? That is possible. But as of right now, it's basically just David Bell and nobody else. So we'll see what David Bell does on January 5th.
Yeah, that's going to be you can stay tuned to the site. There'll be plenty of that drama going on. In addition to a lot of basketball, Brian's also going to Brandon Newman tonight in Valparaiso. Who is Valparaiso?
Brandon Newman tonight, Notre Dame tomorrow morning or afternoon. Isaiah Thompson tomorrow night.
Yeah, and Isaiah Thompson and Newman is playing. And you're going to Valpo tonight for that.
Chicago Central.
All right, so busy weekend stuff on our site, and obviously Matt will have practice reports also from today, which is, our practice starts here at 3:30, and then tomorrow morning, what, 9:30?
Tomorrow morning, 9:30.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, hey, we want to thank our sponsors, Hilton Garden Inn, Triple X, John Basham, the good folks at Basham Rental, State Farm agent Trent Johnson should know this by heart by now. And I want to thank our photographer, Kurt Larman. He's hung with us a whole hour and he's not fallen asleep yet, but that's a function of our good guests, and Mike Dubinsky certainly was that today. So we will take a couple weeks off. Our next show, I believe, will be January the 11th, I believe is the day. Will be our first show of the year. And I think actually Purdue has a men's basketball game that day at Wisconsin, but we'll figure out that schedule as we go. And look forward to having all of you having a great, happy holidays and Happy New Year. And for those of you heading down to Nashville, safe travels as Purdue takes on Auburn in the Music City Bowl. I want to thank Gordon and all the folks at WLFI, too, that have helped make this happen. We appreciate them as well. Have a great holiday season. Thank you again to our sponsors, and we'll see you in about a month on Gold and Black Live.